flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day, it's a new life. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Richmond Raceway here for Goat Lockers, Cruising Classics Next Gen Series, the last race in the round of 8. After tonight, we're going to narrow it down to the Championship 4 for next week's race here on the NASRA 360 Racing Network at Phoenix. We're going to see who's going to be the Cruising Classics Next Gen Series champion. Good evening, folks. I am the redneck announcer, Jake Reeves. We got Dean Hopton Biggles up here in the production truck, also going to be calling some races or calling some of this race rather, and also giving you some fantastic camera angles tonight. There you see the schedule. Already talked about it. We're in the round of 8 last week. Started off the round of 8. Obviously, I was not here. I was on vacation, but heard through the grapevine, Jeremy Gardner, 2 wins in a row. One at Iowa, one last week at Homestead, and Jeremy Gardner is in the field here tonight. So there you see the field right there, the round of 8 on your screen right there in front of you. Brandon Evans, Steve Tucker, Patrick Drabick, Jamie Barkis, Jake Ellingson, George Jewell, Scott Formosa, and Joe Hobbs. That is the 8 drivers that are eyeing a win or somehow or another get some points, try to figure out a way to make themselves into that championship 4 and be able to run for a championship next Wednesday night at Phoenix. Dean, I'm telling you right now, this may be one of the crazier races. I know Monday night we had the DSR Electric Truck Series at Talladega, and obviously that was a crazy race to try to get to the championship 6 with DSR Electric. This is completely different. This is short track racing where beef is always at a high premium.
I know how much you love beef there, Jacob. Welcome along to, of course, for the week 19 of the Nazarene Network. And, of course, tonight, as you had mentioned, my friend, we're at the Richmond Speedway. And short speedway, really just a circle over track at the moment. Tomorrow night, of course, for the ARCA series, we go to Viva Las Vegas and, of course, Darlington Raceway for the Cop series on Fridays. But you're right, beef is going to be in the air at the moment. They were cooking that up in the barbecue, I guess, behind the grandstands at the moment. Welcome everyone in the grandstands, including Mike George, Ray at the moment there, Dougie, and and Shasta, and I mentioned to Dougie at the moment there, best wishes, my friend. I know that I was chatting to Ray earlier there because Doug unfortunately will not be on the grid this evening, and Dougie, best wishes, my friend. He's got his loving wife at the moment, and he obviously has his son out there in the grid trying to do his best there for Jake. Jake, make your father proud, I'd have to say, as the drivers are going to be getting ready to grid up for the race there, Jacob.
Absolutely. Once again, just as Dean mentioned, Dougie, you are in our thoughts and prayers. Hopefully you will be able to get back out here and be able to compete here with Goat Locker very, very soon. And actually, I do see in the live chat that Dougie is in the live chat, Dean. So Dougie is watching here this evening. And obviously he's going to be cheering on his son, Jake Ellingson. But here we go. Let's meet the 16 drivers. It's going to be here at Richmond and obviously on the pole. How about it? He's trying to go for 3 in a row here with the Crusin Classics Next Gen Series. That's Mr. Jeremy Gardner on the pole, starting right beside of him, the owner of Goat Locker, that being Patrick Drabick. Ryan Pendleton, he's had a couple of wins this season in the Crusin Classics Next Gen Series. He's going to start 3rd with Brandon Evans, another Premier Racing Setups driver. He's going to roll off P number 4. Scott Formosa is going to be in P5 with Jason Taylor in P6. Brandon Barrier is going to start in P8, Brandon Barrier is going to be in P7. Jake Ellingson, will be in P8. George Jewell, he's going to start in P9 with Steve Tucker starting in P10. Robert Barber is going to be P11 with Joe Hobbs in P12. Jamie Barkis will be 13th. He's the last driver to take a time here tonight. The rest of these guys did not take a time. Tyler Justice, Bobby Germain, and Eric Martinez. And, Dean, we talked about this, I believe it was last week, when the Veterans Fly Farkas Series, they ran here in Richmond. We talked about this place, obviously, very, very historic. For the NASCAR fans, think back to way back in the 80s. Dale Earnhardt, Darrell Waltrip, they end up having their little beef here at Richmond. And then not so many years ago, 2008, matter of fact, Kyle Busch, Dale Earnhardt Jr., they end up having a little bit of beef here at Richmond. And earlier on this year, matter of fact, Martin Truex Jr., my boy, and Kyle Larson, I like both of them, but both of them end up getting into a spat. And then obviously Denny jumped the restart. Sorry to any of the Denny Hamlin fans out there in the chat, but I mean, yeah, he jumped the restart. Let's just go ahead and just call it what it is. He's jump man. That's exactly what he is. So a lot of crazy things can happen here at Richmond. We'll see if any of those crazy things decide to happen tonight. Pace car is off. Jeremy Gardner, Patrick Drabick. Who's going to make it to the championship 4 next week? Green flag in the air. Gardner's going to go 3 wide going into turn 1. Almost ends up getting turned. Pendleton stuck it on the inside, but he's not able to get the run. Jeremy Gardner, wow, that could have been big right there going into turn 1, lap 1. We could have saw some serious chaos go on, but Pendleton really putting the pressure on Gardner as they just now complete lap 1.
Maximum risk, maximum reward immediately on this short track, as you mentioned there, Jacob. So you can see the marbles will form definitely on the outside. But there it is, Ryan getting one position, taking it to Patrick for the 07 machine around the outside. They're battling for P3 at the moment. There's a bit of action at the back of the field, but we're still green to go, and 113 green laps to go here, Jacob.
Oh, yeah, this is getting really good. Jeremy Gardner, like I talked about a minute ago, trying to go 3 in a row. He knows how to get it done here in Goat Locker. And Patrick Drabick, he's trying to see if he can hold off Ryan Pendleton. He's going to try to use the top side or upper lane, if you want to put it to that. Pendleton way down on the yellow line. So Drabick, he's going to jump back to 3rd. Pendleton up to 2nd. Evans still holding on to the 4th spot. Better watch his back bumper. Here comes Scott Formosa. Here comes Jason Taylor. These guys up here trying to force the issue. Maybe get up here, get them a couple extra spots, because Dean, every position matters here tonight at Richmond. You want to maximize your opportunity at the end of this race. Obviously, no stages, so wherever they finish, that's the points that they're going to have.
Jeremy's just pulled a massive, sidewinder out of everybody. He's about half a second and change down the road there, although Ryan's starting to close in, as you can see on the rear view of the rear wing currently at the moment. Jeremy Gardner, who put the car in pole and currently is leading this race. So he's at the fastest lap, he's got the pace, but more importantly, I don't think he has to worry about the biggest drama right now is the gentleman's behind him, side by side. Here we go, the battle for P4, 3-3. P3.
Evans down on the bottom. Whoa! Drabick tried to jump down, maybe tried to shut the door on him, but he wasn't able to do it. Here comes Evans. Brandon Evans to the inside of Patrick Drabick. Drabick gonna try to work a little bit of top side mojo. Maybe be able to make it stick. Not able to do it. Evans is gonna get the run. Pendleton is starting to close in on Jeremy Gardner, but we focus on the battle for 3rd as Evans and Drabick, 2 playoff drivers. Very fast drivers up here battling it out for 3rd. This could be some serious playoff implications if somehow or another they was to be able to get into it. I know, folks, I may be egging on some beef here in a little bit, but you never know what can happen, especially in these next-gen cars, because, it's just, we talked about this thing, with the steering pinion in these cars. it's just so quick how the turning is in these cars, and just one little slip in these cars, the back end can step out. And the pinion in these cars is way different than a steering ratio that you would have in an Xfinity car or even a truck, as we do see a little bit of door bang in between these guys, but just a little bit overstep with these cars. And then you try to overcorrect it just a little bit too much, you can easily end up taking yourself out of this race.
Well, that's exactly what I was waiting for you there, Jacob, because the door banging download man himself was saying door banging. We need some door banging, gentlemen, because that's what it's all about. It's motor racing, especially in the crucial stages of this fantastic next-gen situation. Of course, this is a final round before you bring it down to 4, my friend. And further back, thinking of Jake at the moment there. Bring it for his dad, bring it for his pop star. Let's go, the number 8, Jacob, getting the job done around a whole gurgle of cars there at the moment. Holding off, actually, the defense, because Jake started in P8, and he has to maintain P8. Can he hold on, Jacob?
We'll see if he can do it. Brandon Barrier, the driver that he is trying to fight right now. Ellenson able to jump up to P8, exactly where he started, just like you said, Dean. But up front, Pendleton still trying to put the pressure there. You saw Barrier almost end up tagging Jake and almost end up setting him around. But check this out right here. 2 of the best, in my opinion, honestly, Dean. 2 of the best in my opinion. Jeremy Gardner, Ryan Pendleton. Obviously, we've heard these names time and time again here on the NASRA 360 Racing Network. Both of these guys literally just go out here and they just light it up. You think about Jeremy Gardner last season for the Jam Printing and Promotions Truck Series that me and you, when we started here with Goat Locker. Well, hell, he goes out there, he wins the championship. Ryan Pendleton, he's had a couple of wins here in the Crusin Classics Next Gen Series, and obviously Gardner going for 3 in a row if he can get it done tonight. I mean, very, very well decorated drivers up here at the front, putting on one hell of a show for you, the fans out there, all 20 of you out there in the live chat. Shout it out. Who you think's going to win this thing? Is it going to be Gardner? Is it going to be Pendleton, Evans, or hell, is it going to be somebody maybe that we haven't talked about yet?
We need somebody to win this race. I guarantee you one thing, Jacob, somebody will win this race. 115 laps down, 101 to go. But Jacob, as a driver, my friend, and you know, we won't talk about Monday nights or any other time that you're driving at the moment. Welcome back, of course, from your fantastic cruise. And you didn't cruise in the Cruising Classics, my friend, but you did take a cruise. Ryan, at the moment, how can he cruise by Jeremy to try to steal the lead of this race?
Well, I mean, there's two options, really, Dean. You know, obviously it's, well, actually there is 3. If he can get to the inside, he's got to get the run off of the corner and be able to dive it down. He can't get up into the wall like he almost ended up doing. But he's got to be able to try to get a run off of the corner and be able to get to Gardner's inside. If he's able to get this run off the corner, not able to do it, he's got to get on his inside going into the corner. And if he can do it, he's going to be able to make it work. Or there is the obvious right here. This is the other option I was thinking about. Maybe a little bumper banging, I guess you could put it to that. Just give him a little bit of tap on the back bumper, send him up the racetrack, and he may be able to do it. Pendleton to the inside of Jeremy Gardner. And don't look now, Brandon Evans. He's going to try to come up here and get his teammate a little bit of help. Now both of them, Gardner and Evans, up on the top, Pendleton down on the bottom. 18 laps into the final race before we get to the championship 4, and it's already shaping up to be a dandy.
And Brandon Evans is the biggest player at the moment coming into this player course for the 69 and 23 machine. There it is, Jacob! You want door banging, you want racing, and you want the classic, of course, Cruising Classics Next Gen Series at the Richmond Raceway. Side by side, Jacob, who's going to get the lead?
We'll see what we can get right here. Obviously, Gardner really showing a lot of toughness, really, up here in this top to middle lane here at Richmond. Almost door banging coming off a 2. Once again, very, very tight right now between Gardner and Pendleton. And Evans, really, he hasn't figured out exactly which lane he wants to be in at this point. He's been up at the top. He just went down to the bottom and behind Pendleton. He's basically just trying to figure out which line's going to end up moving. Pendleton's line moves. Will he be able to clear Gardner? He will clear him, but just for a split second. Your new race leader, and that is Ryan Pendleton. And now it's a battle for second with Evans and Gardner, the 2 Premier Racing setups cars right behind him. Evans gonna get around Gardner. Now he's gonna set his sights on Ryan Pendleton for the lead.
And Ryan just snatched this one. 2 spots gained by the Premier Setups. But don't you remember that? We know the Premier Setups, of course, a major sponsor here at the NASRA Network. They come into play a little bit later on. There's your little tap. There's to remind you at the moment. Brett Evans says, I got some Premier Setups on my gear. Jeremy Gardner, of course, there. Patrick has now caught this party, my friend. A 4-way party. Lap 23, 93 to go.
Yeah, I mean, these 4 right here have literally just checked out. I mean, literally, all 4 of them's really hit the NOS button, and Evans gonna hit the NOS button going into turn 3. Brandon Evans is gonna get into Pendleton. He's gonna move him up the racetrack. Side by side, Brandon Evans, Ryan Pendleton. Obviously, I think that was incidental contact, but Evans will take it any way that he can get it. Brandon Evans goes to the lead here at Richmond. Pendleton gets shoved back to second. Gardner's going to hold down third with Drabick right behind him. And Jason Taylor 2.5 seconds back of this 4-horse race for the lead here at Richmond.
Now it's a matter of your friends, isn't it? Who's your Kia's ally really on track at the moment, isn't it? And how is Brandon D. Evans going to work with Ryan Pendleton? How is Jeremy Gardner and Patrick going to work? Patrick just on the back there. Let's look at Patrick's view. Here's Patrick, of course. He's sitting there at the moment going prssetups.com. At the moment there on the back of the Camry. So what's he going to do? There's a huge gap really, 1 point something seconds, about 2 seconds and change down the road, which is huge on this track there, Jacob. See on the track map at the moment. Let's start the backstretch. Here we go, my friend. Lap 26.7 about to come up.
See what we can do right here. Obviously, Pendleton really still putting the pressure on Brandon Evans. Gardner trying to see if he can just hold his line and stay where he's at. He's dropped 2 spots from the start of the race. Evans actually has jumped 3 spots from 4th all the way up to the lead. Pendleton up the back bumper of Evans. Pendleton almost ends up tagging the fence. Pendleton really driving the hell out of that number 23, trying to get back to the inside and maybe have a shot at Evans, but he better watch himself if he oversteps it. Premier Racing Setups, they're going to be 1-2 here with the Crusin Classics Next Gen Series at Richmond, and now Gardner better watch his back bumper. Here comes Patrick Drabick. Give him a little bit of a shove right there going into turn 1. These guys playing bumper car here at Richmond very, very early on in this race.
Absolutely huge, Jacob. It's absolutely huge. At the moment, Brandon's got a little bit of breathing space. I'm talking about a little bit of breathing space. He's got about 30 seconds of breathing space. Half a second of breathing space, actually, not 30 seconds. Wow, that'd be a lot in this track. But look at the track map, which means you can start to catch up to that lap traffic very, very, very soon. They're all spread out the field. I do apologize, we can't catch up to a lot of the action that's happening a little bit further back. But I tell you right now, if you are tuning into Next Gen, and I appreciate everybody tuning in there, I realize the chat, everybody is pumped it all up there for the 17 people watching. It is. And big shout out, of course, for all the drivers out. Big shout out for Dougie as well, too. Dougie, I'm glad Dougie's watching there. Dougie, I hope you're tuned in. I hope you're enjoying it. I know we are, and I know the top 4 at the moment are, because this is a nose to tail, my friend. We are in the championship playoffs. It's going to be down the full soon, Jacob.
Yes, it is. And one thing you just mentioned just a second ago, that some of the stories that we haven't actually talked about, we'll see if we can actually talk about some of them real quick. There you see Jake Ellenson, Scott Formosa, both of them. This is the battle for the 7th spot. Ellenson down on the bottom, Formosa up top. Ellenson going to be able to get the run, so put Jake up to 7th. And how about this right behind him? This is the man that I was fixing to mention, Jamie Barkis. He's back here in 16th spot. Now, why do you ask that he is in 16th? But he's right behind Jake, who is in 7th. Jamie is 2 laps down. Jamie Barkis is in the playoffs, folks. He is praying for someone to end up having some beef with somebody and end up catching a caution to be able to at least get 1 lap back, and then maybe get another caution and be able to get both laps back. This could be very, very detrimental for Mr. Jamie Barkis here for his shot at a championship 4, or yes, a shot at championship 4 next week at Phoenix.
You called it there, Jacob. So keep an eye out for the all-wise, the Reddick announcer, of course, if you haven't tuned into his podcast. He gets basically every driver on the planet that loves iRacing and loves the series, and not just, of course, the fantastic series here at Nazareth, but practically anybody. You even dragged in the booth one time there, didn't you, Jacob? So, yeah, pay attention and enjoy, get your popcorn, and ride on board with the Jacob, and congratulations. It's good to be back in the booth with you, my friend. How's your Crusin Classics Next Gen Series going so far as you're riding on board with Patrick?
I mean, it's going pretty good. Obviously, was back from vacation, was very happy to come back. Obviously had some real racing to attend to this past Saturday night, Dean, which is going to be very, very cool. We'll talk about that on the door banging down. We might talk about it a little bit here on the broadcast, maybe later on in this race, but we still want to give these guys every bit of the opportunities that they have, and Patrick Drabick really putting some pressure right now on Jeremy Gardner, really showing the nose, trying to get to the inside, trying to do the same exact thing that Pendleton once did to Gardner. So Drabick trying to do the same exact thing, but honestly, caution on the speedway. This is what Jamie Barkis needed.
It's Brandon into the back of the fence there. He's reversing at the moment. Don't go spinning. Oh, I always say that he's cautious. Good on you, Brandon. Good on you, Brandon. Keeping it out of there. Well, it did unfortunately hit the barrier. Brandon, you know, we've caused this one a few times there for the puns. But we'll go back and have a look at the replay of that one. Unfortunately, our first caution of the day, which means, I have to say, Jacob, everybody has to go to pit road, right? Why not take the opportunity to get down there and get some fresh boots?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to be able to take this opportunity to go down, like you said, get those fresh boots, get the fresh tires, and you're going to see barrier right here from Eden, North Carolina, excuse me. End up just back end comes around. It's very, very easy to do that here in these
Could
next
you
gen
explain
cars
this
with the
one,
back
Jacob,
end
real
just
quick?
stepping
That,
out.
just as a race driver, because, solo accidents sometimes aren't really focused on too much. But explain this as we go. Oh, we'll go full speed.
All right, so pretty much what you got right here, I mean, there you see Barrier going into the corner. Watch what he's doing. He's actually shifting here, which is one thing that these Cruising Classics next gens have right here. I mean, Dean, that spot right there coming off of 2, it can really screw you up because it gets flat coming off of turn 2 in a hurry, especially when you're going from a banking all the way to flat surface while you've got the wheels straight. I mean, it can really throw off the balance of one of these next gen cars. It can really throw off the balance of a truck or even an Xfinity car here very, very much. So turn 2 is very, very crazy to try to be able to get off, and even the best have spun them out coming off of turn 2. But since we got our first caution after these guys just got through taking their pit stops, we're going to go ahead and take us a pit stop, let you hear from some of our sponsors. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And folks, that very first ad that you saw, obviously Premier Racing Setups. Need a Premier Racing Setup? Go to PremierRacingSetups.com. Enter that code NASRA, N-A-S-R-A. Get that 15% discount off your entire order. And also, if you want to get the setups, the Redneck Announcer and the Mountain Man, Robert Hill Jr., you'll hear him on the Friday night series, Concerns of Police Survivors Truck Series here on the NASRA 360 Racing Network. If you want to get the setups that we drive, and also your front row right now, which is Brandon Evans and Jeremy Gardner, go to PremierRacingSetups.com. And also do a little trivia with you guys. We're going to play that Cruising Classics ad later on again. The mystery car that we've been talking about, red and black. You can tell us what that car is, red and black, as we got the green flag in the air. Brandon Evans able to get out to a pretty good lead now. Now he's got Pendleton. Pendleton, give him a shot. And Evans tried to hold on to it. Gardner way up on the top side trying to get some momentum. Not too far back from them, Steve Tucker on the outside of Jake Ellingson, but we stay with the battle for the lead. Evans has it. Gardner, Pendleton, and Patrick Dravick, they want it, and Gardner is still stuck up on the top side. Got to be careful off of 2. You don't want to get loose and end up spinning it around and knocking it into the barriers. No pun intended, but Gardner up on the top trying to make some magic work. 45 laps into the 115 lap race.
Welcome along to the Brandon Evans, the Jeremy Gardner, and the Ryan Pendleton show. As again at the Patrick Dravick hanging in the background there, Jacob. You mentioned that Brandon Evans had to hold the launch off. It almost got attacked early on this one, but he's holding on. Look at the rear. Look at the rear spoiler of this car at the moment. He has the big guns there of Jeremy Gardner and Ryan just in his rear view mirror.
Looking pretty good right now. Evans trying to see if he can break away. Caution. Caution on the speedway, and that is exactly what Jamie Barkus needed. He needed the caution to happen, and guess what? He's going to be able to get back on the lead lap. That is exactly what Jamie Barkus needed right then and there. We'll check it out once again. Looks like it's our good friend, Mr. Brandon Barrier. Looks like he's just going to end up spinning it off of 4. This is a different spot here, Dean. Obviously, we saw Barrier lose it over in turn 2 for the very first caution. Now he's losing it in 4.
Yeah, Jacob,
4
give me
is a
another
very hard
explanation
turn.
of this as race driver, because it's one thing to look at it from an external camera, but go ahead. What's happened here?
Yeah, so, I mean, here he goes. I mean, he just kind of goes into the corner. He's still got it in 4th gear. Mind you about this shifting that these cars is doing. Looks like he's kind of right there at about that high RPM area. And those high RPMs, obviously the rear tires spinning very, very fast. Much more faster than what you would be in say, 5th gear at that point with, lower RPMs. So the higher the RPMs is, the faster them wheels are spinning on the back. And I think that had a lot to do with him getting loose right there and spinning out. But maybe there was a little bit too much wheel into it. That can be very, very easy to do. Obviously, with these next-gen cars, talked about the steering pinions of how they are, how quick the steering is and how quick the reaction can be in those cars. So that probably had a little bit to do with why Brandon Barrier ends up spinning out once again. It's going to put us under the 2nd caution of the race. Brandon Evans, your leader. Ryan Pendleton, 2nd. Gardner, 3rd. Patrick Drabick, 4th. Jake Ellenson, how about this? From 8th all the way up to 5th.
Jacob.
The rest, yeah.
Do you think we can pull Jacob up here for a second while we have a little bit of time? I mean, because we are on another caution. I don't know if he's willing to, or if not Brandon Evans and stuff like that, because I think Jacob's going to be very happy to hear from his mom as well as...
We can. I think we can.
And
I
Dougie
think we
would
can
be very
pull
impressed
Jake up
'cause,
here.
We wish Dougie... Yep.
Yeah, we'll pull him up here for a quick word. We'll go ahead pull up Jake Ellenson up here in the booth. Jake, you got a copy, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good, bud. And what it looks like, I mean, we was going to ask you how's it going because, Jake, you starting to put some moves on right here coming to the halfway point of this race.
Yeah, just kind of hitting my marks and taking the spots where I can get them. Not really trying to push it too hard, just trying to have a good finish for tonight and hopefully make this Champ 4.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that. Obviously, the Championship 4 obviously is going to be next week, Phoenix. I know you sent me some messages earlier about, we're going to try to get the points in and try to be able to have it for the broadcast so all the viewers at home will know where their favorite driver is going to be able to stack up. But what's it going to take to try to keep that number 27 up under you? Because we've already seen Barrier already spit out twice in 2 different quarters. What's the key to be able to keep that car up under you?
Having that egg under the foot because it is extremely loose off. So a lot of throttle control is going to be definitely key, and not trying to push it too hard.
This man has heard me broadcast big time right here, Dave.
I was going to say, egg out of the foot there, Jake. Yeah, I was going to say, egg out of the foot, Jake. Hey, by the way, best wishes to your father, my friend. Of course, to Ray's out there. Do it for him, my friend. Do it for the Ellison family, and do it for Milwaukee.
Thank you. He's doing a little bit better. He's kind of just taking it day by day. Doctors still haven't really figured out what's going on with him, but he's taking each day as it comes, and hopefully we'll get it figured out pretty soon and get him back home and back in the rig.
Absolutely. Jake Ellenson sitting P5 for this restart. Jake, appreciate your time. Good luck, buddy.
Not a problem. Thank you.
That was Jake Ellenson as the pace car just now getting ready to pull off. It has pulled off. Here we go. Got cool restart zone. Green flag in the air. Brandon Evans. It's out to a pretty good jump. And how about that? Ryan Pendleton basically stayed right with his right rear quarter panel. Stayed with him all the way to turn 1. But Evans able to dive down and get the run. Ellenson back here and a little bit of door banging with Steve Tucker for the 5th spot. Tucker trying to work the top side. Ellenson down on the bottom. Ellenson trying to keep the car up under him. Tucker way up top. Ellenson able to get clear. So keep Jake Ellenson in the P5 spot. and he may be a player here later on in this race. Obviously up 3 spots, and Steve Tucker gets very, very loose right behind Jake Ellingson. Good deal for Jake to be able to try to get around Tucker right there, because if he would have been right behind him, he probably would have tagged him in the back bumper, and we would have probably had another caution right there.
And it brings your duel back into play as well too, because we know the duel fans are right there in the chat. But back up to the lead of this race there, one Jacob. 54 of 115 down, 62 to go. They have had a pit stop, my friend. Yeah, as I call box. So they got fresh boots. Do they have the gasoline to go to the end? We don't know. But at the moment they're driving the pants on fire, because this is it, my friend. It's only going to be 4 gladiators that will make it into the championship 4. Who's going to be? Brandon Levy leading from Ryan Pendleton, Jeremy Gardner, and Patrick, top 4.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, honestly, Dean, they will be able to make it on fuel, no problem. It's whether or not they're going to be able to make it on the tires and how that strategy is going to play out, because obviously the tires do wear out pretty substantial, to be honest with you, here at Richmond. We'll see what happens. Is Gardner going to be able to get a little bit of a run down on the inside lane? He's going to kick Pendleton up to the top side. Patrick Dravick trying to figure out which lane he wants to go with, which one's moving. Pendleton moved big time off of 4. Almost lost it, and almost ended up maybe even collecting Gardner, and probably even Dravick, because Dravick there, you're riding on board with him all over the back bumper of Gardner. I'm telling you, if Pendleton would have lost it and took out Gardner, Dravick would have been right in the middle of that. So Patrick's got to be very, very careful right here. He's got to have a solid night, just like Jake talked about that he wants to have. Got to have a solid night. Don't do anything crazy. Well, screw it. He may be thinking crazy. He was looking to the top side there for a second, but try to be just consistent. Come out of here with a top 5, and I got a feeling if you can get a top 5, I got a feeling you'll be racing for a championship next week.
I got a feeling tonight's going to be a good night. I'm feeling tonight's going to be a fantastic night for some of these drivers here at the Richmond Raceway. It's a double R's in the race pipes, and at the moment Jake has caught this one, Jacob. So there it is. He's caught this party because of the battling up the road there. So Brandon Evans, you can see just to end up the road down the orange machine, the 39. He's leading this one a little bit comfortably, I'd have to say, but Ryan Pendleton and Jeremy Gardner tooth to nail, side by side. It'll also bring Jake into play in the background there.
Wow, Pendleton got into the fence coming off of 4, and then Gardner shot right up to his back bumper. Gardner tried to take a shot to the top side. It's going to end up maybe not working out well for him, as Dravick able to get to the inside. Gardner trying to get clear. Dravick not going to let him have it. Patrick Dravick in the 07 keeps it on the bottom side, but Gardner able to get the run. It could have been really, really crazy turn of events right there. All of it happening right here in front of Jake Ellison, as Brandon Evans starting to actually get in his own area code right now, as Gardner all over the back bumper of Pendleton. He's going to take a shot. Now Gardner, he's going to go for second. Pendleton up top. Dravick right behind him. Whoa, both of them get loose off of 2. Gardner wants this second spot really, really bad.
Why not? Why not at the moment there? Because this is allowing Evans to go way up the road. Look at Evans. He's gone, my friend. He is out of this world at the moment. These drivers that are battling further back there are causing a big, big problem for themselves. In fact, if anything, they're bringing Scott Formosa, Steve Tucker, and the rest of the field into play. So at the moment, you've got to get the overtake done, Jacob. You can't sit around and wait around, my friend. 63 of 115, almost halfway through this race. Hey, it's race time, and it's dramatically, it is playoff time. So, yeah, you snooze, you lose.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. I mean, and, you know, I was sitting there thinking about it. Obviously, Dean, this series is a fixed setup league. And what I mean by fixed setup, I mean that these guys can't go in there and adjust on the car. They can't adjust certain things, like, say, the brake bias, the steering pinion. They can also adjust the offset of their race car as far as the wheel goes. But that's the only real 3 things that they can really adjust here in these cars. They can't go in there and mess with the shocks, mess with the springs, even mess with the tire pressures. It's everybody's basically got the same piece to a certain extent. But the point I'm bringing up on that is we may end up having to see if Brandon Evans will end up passing Tech after this sucker's all said and done, because he's out to about the biggest lead that I've seen any of the drivers be able to get out to so far here this season, that out to about a second and a half, give or take, over Ryan Pendleton. Jeremy Gardner, Patrick Drabick, Jake Ellison starting to slip back a little bit, but Drabick putting some pressure right now on Jeremy Gardner. This is the battle for third.
Jacob, this is the pressure you want to apply on, because they should know at the moment there's a lap car coming up at the moment. That lap car's going to pit road. Yes, it is 42. So 39 will go squeezing on past. They will be like, thank you very much. Exit on the pit road at the moment. It's the 42. And will it cause problems, Jacob? No, it doesn't. He stays in the inside line. Jeez, I'd like to build up the drama. Jake's coming to play at the moment. There it is. So Brandon Evans got a get out of jail free card, really, I have to say, with Brandon Berrier, actually. So speaking of Brandon's, one goes in the pit road, one leading the race.
And one driver that we was talking about earlier that was 2 laps down was able to get his lap back. That's Jamie Barkis. He's still back here in 12th. He's actually battling for 10th right now. He's got Tyler Justice and Eric Martinez right in front of him. Barkis actually going to take a shot and get around. I believe that was Tyler Justice. So, yes, it was. So, put Barkis up to P11. He's trying to be able to claw back up here and maybe end up squeezing out a top 5 before this thing is all said and done. And maybe go ahead and punch his ticket to Phoenix next week for the championship 4. But check it out, this battle still brewing up here at the front of the field. Patrick Drabick putting some serious pressure on last season's Jam Printing and Promotions champion for the Truck Series on Thursday nights. Patrick Drabick really putting pressure right now on Jeremy Gardner for 3rd place.
He's giving everything he got, of course, so it's going to be huge, huge, huge. There's other battles at the moment, and they're at the back there, but we have to kind of keep it on the lead this year. I mean, Steve Tucker, of course, is battling out there with Robert Barber. There's George Jewell, and I know that George Jewell has his lady friend out there at the moment. Well, of course, behind every great driver is an even greater woman, and she's there supporting him, and we love that here at that NASRA Racing Network. But at the moment, Patrick's trying to get it on Jeremy. Get in the inside there, Jacob. Can he get it done?
We'll see if he can do it. He's able to get the run. Finally able to get to the inside of Jeremy Gardner. Patrick Drabick down on the bottom side. Gardner maybe trying to pinch him down on the yellow and try to see if he can maybe get the run off the corner. Gardner is going to get a run off the corner, but is it going to be enough? Still pinching Patrick down on that yellow line. And don't look down. Jake Ellison not too far behind. He may be able to jump past both of them and go to 3rd. As hard as these guys is racing. But like I said, Dean, got to be careful in this situation. Try not to overstep your boundaries in these next-gen cars. We've already seen it's very, very easy to spin these cars out. These guys on pins and needles just trying to hold on to these cars. Drabick gets loose off of 4. Gardner actually got loose off of 4 as well. And both of them still side by side, riding on board right now with George Jewell. He's back here trying to get around Tucker and get around Barber. Tucker put on a hell of a block going into turn 1, able to make it work. And Drabick still working over Jeremy Gardner for 3rd.
I'm just trying to get the 2 battles at once there, Jacob, because there's so much going on at the moment there. But I'm right on board right now with Jacob, of course, because here it is, one Jacob to another there. Jake Ellison, of course, 3 positions gained. Have a look, bird's eye view. And if you're in the pants, if you're in the racing boots, currently at the moment of this fantastic driver, what do you do, Jacob? How do you manage this battle up the road from Jeremy and Patrick? Because Brandon Evans and Ryan are way up the road, but that much way.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do, whatever you can do to try to maybe save tires and maybe have something for later on in the race. And obviously, Evans may have burnt his stuff up because right now, Ryan Pendleton, he's actually cut it down to about half a second right now from Brandon Evans. Way different than what it was at a second and a half a while ago. But Pendleton has closed that gap. We'll have to keep an eye on that. We still see this battle for 3rd right now with Gardner, Drabick, and Jake not too far back from all this. Drabick has really threw everything but the kitchen sink right now at Jeremy Gardner, but none of it's been able to work. Really, the only thing he hasn't done is throw the pipe up under the kitchen sink at him, and what I mean by that is just putting a bumper to him and moving him up the racetrack.
And more importantly, Jacob, there's traffic. Look at the track map at the moment, my friend. Those cars that you're looking at, the 39 is leading this race, 23. and we're looking back at the 07. But further up, you have the 2 car, you have the 33. That will come into play, Jacob. No cautions, of course. You have to bring this to the end of the race. Can they bring this to the end of the race on those tires? You said fuel is good, so it's all pumped up at the gas station. You don't have to worry about going to your inflated prices at the gas pump and go, God damn it, now I have to get another loan out to pay for the gas. No, that's not the situation. At this point, it's about can the tires go to the end, Jacob?
That is going to be the key, really, as to whether or not these guys has been saving their tires. Gardner gets into the fence. That might have been what Patrick Trevick needed. Now Patrick able to get up to third. Gardner got loose off of 2, slapped the fence, and Pendleton, or excuse me, Drabick. I was looking at Pendleton when I said it, but Drabick able to get the run and get around him. That's one thing that, you know, Patrick, I've seen him do numerous times. Here with Goat Locker, honestly, Dean, is just put the pressure on people. Make them slip. Make them screw up. And he was able to do it even with the best. And Jeremy Gardner and Drabick able to jump up here and get a third place run as of right now. And there you saw Eric Martinez going down pit road. They're actually catching up on Joe Hobbs. Hobbs actually, now he's going to take this shot. He's going to go in. He just gets lapped by Evans. So a couple of these drivers, obviously Martinez and Hobbs, wow, he is very, very slow right now going down pit road.
Hit the gasoline pedal, my friend. What's going on? Jay might have a technical issue. Anyway, we'll go back to this one. Jacob, this is going to be crucial at the moment there because we've seen Martinez done this before a few times. We'll go back and let everybody know current situation, of course, with what is crucial for the championship standings, because this is it, isn't it? You're talking about, look at the big guns at the moment. Brandon leading this race there, and you can go through the rest of the field there, Jacob.
Yeah, I mean, Brandon right now, he is leading the race. You see Steve Tucker right there on there as well. He's sitting in P6 right now. After that, you end up running into who is sitting third as far as that.
We got a wreck, Jacob, sorry.
He's
We got a big
third.
wreck.
Caution on the speedway.
Just as I said it, Martinez exited pit road. I think this has got something to do with him coming out of pit road here. Because Martinez we saw come in. Oh, he's lost it, Jacob, all by himself. That's before the marbles. But the guy's got collected. Oh, who's he collected? Oh, that's the leader pack.
Wow.
That is the leader pack. I think it was Steve Tucker involved in this one there, Jacob. So let's have a look. That's the worst thing, isn't it? When you're coming out of pit road and you see somebody sliding and then you're like going, don't go, don't go, don't. Oh, bang.
Tucker gets into it. Scott Formosa also getting involved. Jamie Barkus. Wow, what a slide he was able to take, but didn't look like he actually hit anything. And then that just pretty much just threw strategy right out the door. Everybody going down pit road, 4 fresh tires. They can fill it up with fuel if they want to, but Dean, I've talked about it before. You take fuel, it can throw the handling off on the car. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it can do that. We'll see how that ends up playing out for them.
It's like taking the groceries, isn't it? Like when you're coming back with a whole bunch of groceries to the store and back like that, and it's weighing the car down. Of course you wouldn't do it. Brandon Evans leads everybody out of the pit road. What do you reckon, Jacob? What's the setups that you use, my friend, to make your car faster?
I use Premier Racing Setups off of PremierRacingSetups.com. That's the exact same setups that I use, just as Brandon Evans uses, as well as Jeremy Gardner uses. So while we've got this opportunity right here, getting close to the end of this thing, who's going to make this championship for? We're going to take a quick commercial break, folks. Remember the mystery car, red and black. Red and black, that's the only clue that you're going to get. Red and black. Shout it out there in the live chat. Let us know what you think that car is. And we will be right back with the conclusion here for the Cruising Classics Next Gen Series here at Richmond. Don't go anywhere. folks, there you have it. That's about the only, well, we may end up giving you another hint later on down the road before this thing's all said and done. I tell you what, the car's sitting next to a blue one, if that helps you out any out there in the live chat. I haven't seen anybody key up and make that picker. Actually, Dean, maybe they're just zoned into this right here to figure out where their favorite driver's going to finish. Pace car is off. 25 laps to go here for the round of 8. Brandon Evans able to get out to a fantastic jump. Gardner back here trying to hold them all off for the second spot. Everybody comes off of turn 2. Looks like they're able to get off there. Gardner able to hold on to second. Remember, Evans trying to get himself locked into the championship 4. Jeremy Gardner, hell, he's trying to go for 3 in a row. And Jake Ellingson trying to muster something up and maybe get a podium as he's able to get around Ryan Pendleton. He's going to set his sights now on Patrick Trappy.
Jacob, would you like a Corvette custom that's been written out there in the chat there to bring this race to the end at the moment with 24 to go? That is the question. Well, Brandon Evans at the moment doesn't need a Corvette custom at the moment. He is custom his way into the absolute.
Oh, Jake! Jake gets loose. Jake gets loose big time. Jake got really loose going into turn 1. Car stepped out from up under him and went all the way up, tagged the outside retaining wall. He's able to keep it straight. Now he's right in front of George Jewell. But Jake Allenson, that could have been way, way worse than what it really ended up being right there for Jake. He's still got to figure out something. He's all the way back to where he started, which, believe it or not, the driver passing him right now is J.B. Barkis. The man that was 2 laps down a while ago, he's going to be able to jump up to 8th. George Jewell, Steve Tucker almost 3 wide.
Oh.
Tucker gets loose off of 4.
No, Steve Tucker at the moment getting loose at the moment. So there's George Jewell, there's Jake, and we know at the moment they got the family members out there in the chat. That's the fan club. We'll have to go up further in the field there. I apologize about that if you wanted to tune in that one later. Patrick, Jeremy, and Brandon Evans. That's the top 4. And Ryan Pendleton, of course. They've been this all night long, Jacob. And, you know, all night long riding along here at Richmond Raceway. It's going to go to the end, my friend. 20 laps to go really quickly. Don't blink. Don't go to the microwave popcorn.
Oh,
We got a caution. It's Ryan Pendleton.
Ryan got loose going into turn 1 and ended up getting spun around. Ryan Pendleton ends up just locking the brakes up, back in, steps out, tries to get it straightened back out, goes up and hits the outside wall. You see it right here on the instant replay. Yeah, he was loose going into the corner. Really looked like he was actually World of Outlaws late model racing there for a second. With the back end coming out, and then bam, comes up, hits the wall.
Is that
not
cold
hard,
tires?
but hard enough?
Is it cold
I
tires?
think it probably was either that or maybe he jammed on the brakes just a little bit too much. He may have overshot the entry, jammed on the brakes a little bit, and that may have caused his car to actually step out right there.
A few
a
jobs
little
going
bit
to pit
right
road
there,
at the moment. We have what is it? What is the point right now? I mean, not the point, of course, but Jake in Tyler Justice, Steve Tucker, and Ryan are all going into pit road right now. So why are they doing this, Jacob, with such a short period of time to go there?
I mean, tires is crucial here, Dean. I mean, especially here in these cars, tires is very, very crucial. So maybe that's what it is. Now, Pendleton going in, I can see that. I mean, he hit the wall pretty good. So he may want to go ahead, get 4 fresh tires. He slid the tires I mean, basically all to hell. So go ahead, get the front end fixed, get him 4 fresh tires, send it back out. Jake, on the other hand, he set it, and he did end up tagging the wall a little bit. So maybe he wants to go down, maybe get maybe a faster repair, go ahead and fix the damage. I think he probably ended up using a fast repair as fast as he ended up coming out. But tires is crucial. I mean, granted, they did run a very short amount of time on those tires. Maybe that's something, you know, extra to be able to try to figure out a way to get around some of these guys. I will say this. Shout out to Mike George out there in the live chat. You are correct, sir. Chevrolet Corvette. And, I mean, really, I may end up getting some hate for this one out of all 25 of you out there in the live chat. I may end up getting some hate right now from Mr. Dean Biggles. I may end up getting some hate from Brady LaBeouf. Chevy's the way to go, baby. I'm telling you, Chevy is the way to go. Nothing against the Toyota, nothing against the Ford. I had a Ford before I had my Chevrolet, but Chevy is the way to go, in my personal opinion.
Well, Jacob, I've actually owned a Ford and a Chevy, Toyota, in my life. So, yeah, I'm nothing wrong against cars. So, why not, my friend?
It's better than a Dodge. We'll just put it to you that way. It's
But
better than a
I
Dodge.
also had a Dodge Charger, so now you just hit another nail that you shouldn't have hit, my friend.
I didn't know
but
that.
either way, I've had many cars, but it's personal preferences. And hey, whatever gets you, well, if we're talking about road cars, right? I'm not winning races in a road car, but then again, if you want to take a road car around a track, then that's what your personal preferences is. And do we get a chance to chat quickly to a driver at the moment there? Because maybe Brandon, maybe Jeremy, maybe Patrick, maybe anybody really.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we've actually got another lap. We'll see what the pace lights look like right now. Well, we'll look. We'll see what it is right here, because I think the lights may end up going off right here, Dean. If they do stay on, we'll go ahead, and they are off. So, if they would have stayed on, we probably would have pulled a driver in.
Not a problem.
Quick shout out to the live chat, Mr. Robert Hill Jr., the Mountain Man. Matter of fact, out there, the very first comment, I'm all for it. They are all my family, and Robert, we are very appreciative to have you as a part of the Nazareth 360 Racing Network family, and a part of mine, Dean, Brady's lives. So appreciate that support. But then the second comment, cancel him. I mean, damn. I mean, come on, really? I mean, just because of a Chevrolet?
Jacob?
Really? Come on.
Let's get
He's
racing,
going me
Jacob.
cancel because of a Chevy. Come on, Robert. Green flag in the air. 14 laps to go. Brandon Evans is able to get the lead. Gardner right behind him. Patrick Drabick up here, as well as Jason Taylor. Folks, remember that name, Jason Taylor. One of those guys to be able to make a crazy whoa, Formosa. God, Formosa's going into the wall. And it looks like Jake Ellison's going to get into him as well. No caution on the speedway.
Wow.
But Jake looked like Jake might have needed that, because he was hauling ass going through 3 and 4, able to keep it straight. But, I mean, like I was talking about with Jason Taylor, folks, remember a couple of weeks ago, where was we at? Iowa.
Yes,
Jason
sir.
Taylor, he had a very, very, very good night at Iowa. Richmond, very similar to Iowa, so no stranger to the front of this particular type of racetrack. Jason Taylor sitting up here in that 4th spot.
And in fact, speaking of Iowa, I had a couple of friends here that are in my apartment at the moment. They're from Iowa, and they asked me something about apples and the Apple Man. I'm very curious about that one. I can't really look at that specifically, but if anybody knows specifically about the Apple Man in Iowa, but at the moment, don't worry about the Apple Man in Iowa. We'll worry about at the moment if you're on board with the 07 machine of Patrick DeBeck, because you have Jeremy Gardner and Brandy Evans leading this race. 11 to go.
And absolutely, and for some of you that are just tuned in, when I was talking about Jason Taylor, he actually finished second here, at Iowa. Like I said, same exact track. Who beat him? The man is sitting in second right behind Brandon Evans. That'd be Jeremy Gardner. So do not count Taylor out of this thing before it's all said and done. Still got 10 laps to go, coming to 9 laps to go. We'll see if Taylor's got anything for him. We'll see if Gardner's got anything for Evans. And Drabick may end up fooling all of us and taking it all the way from 3rd all the way up to the lead. Front 4 drivers really looking very, very strong up here. Barber not too far back, sitting in 5th. Really, it's a 4-horse race, if you want to put it that way, between Evans, Gardner, Drabick, and Taylor, the top 4. Barber not too far back, as I mentioned, but I'm telling you, it's coming down to crunch time, baby. 8 laps to go. Who is going to get the win, and who's going to be able to run to Phoenix next week for a championship?
Talking about crunch time at the moment, though, you're talking about horses, my friend. It's horsepower, of course, but it's sheer horsepower of the machines. They're powered by, I don't even know how many specific horses they're powered at the moment, but the top 2 at the moment are powered by Racing Premier setups at the moment. That's the 39 and 69 machine there. Can anybody else close in there? Patrick and Jason are battling in the background. 7 to go there, Jacob, as well as everybody in the chat there, of course, Robert and Ray and everybody else. Welcome along. It's crunch time. And it's the Crusin Classics, baby, as you would say, Jacob.
Yes, sir. Crusin Classics, baby. And boy, I'm telling you right now, Drabick, is really getting a handful right now from Jason Taylor. Dravick actually got loose a lap before and then ended up almost backing into the right front headlight. Jason Taylor really putting the pressure on him. Gardner putting the pressure on Evans. Barber really back here in his own world. He's got nobody even around him. So if all four of these guys end up getting clobbered up, you may end up seeing the 57 of Robert Barber. That's a good number. If anybody watches on the Monday Night Series, 57's a really, really good number. Barber may end up going from 5th to 1st. We'll see how that ends up working up for him. But how about this right here? I got to mention this as we're coming to 5 laps to go. Look who's sitting in 6th. Jamie Barkus. He was 2 laps down when the race started. He has clawed his way all the way up to 6th, and he's running down Robert Barber for a top 5. This may end up being what Jamie Barkus ended up needing here tonight. You may end up seeing Barkus going to the championship 4 next week in Phoenix. 3 laps to go, Evans trying to hold on to the win.
I don't think Jacob at the moment he's worried about it. I think the 2 drivers at the moment worry about this race win. Of course, there's more at play, as you are well aware of, the championship hunt for the championship hunt with the top 4. But these 2, are there going to be team rules at play here? Are they going to be their friends, of course, off the track, but are they allies on the track? Because that's crucial here. They've got to make sure they can maintain a 1 and 2. Who wants the 1 and who wants the 2? That's going to be the key.
We'll see what happens. Obviously, Evans still holds on to the lead. Gardner right behind him. Coming to the white flag. If there is not a caution before they get there, they didn't get the caution. White flag, bell lap here at Richmond. Evans trying to hold on and lock himself into Phoenix next week. Gardner trying to put some moves on him. They worked their way off of turn 2. Gardner right up his back bumper. Evans sends it right down on the yellow line. Gardner's going to get a run, but guess what? It's not going to be enough. Brandon Evans going to win it here tonight at Richmond. Jeremy Gardner is going to get 2nd. Patrick Dravick will get 3rd. Jason Taylor 4th, and Jamie Barkus was able to get around Robert Barber at the line and secure a top 5 finish. That may have put Barkus straight into the championship 4 right there, Dean.
Got to be in to win it, my friends, and they have absolutely been in to win it there. So, as you mentioned, look at that, Brandon celebrating early, my friend. He's like, I got it. You know, I have it. I think it's maybe those premier setups there, Jacob, but we can't speak too quickly about that one. But Jeremy Gardner's even celebrating with him at the moment. So, I suggest, my friend, there's team telemetry and team communication going on with this race win.
Oh, yeah, and they're probably communicating it right now while they're doing the burnouts. Probably Evans, obviously, there you see the results. Brandon Evans gets the win. Gardner will finish 2nd. 1-2 finish for PRS. We'll talk to those guys as well as Patrick Dravick, who finished 3rd. Or we'll bring those guys up here in just a little bit. Jason Taylor, really, really good run for him. After what happened at Iowa a couple of weeks ago, got that 2nd place finish. He ends up locking up a top 5 here tonight. And obviously, Jamie Barkus started 13th. He's going to end up finishing with a top 5 tonight. We'll get those points for you when they are updated here very, very shortly. Robert Barber going to hold on and get 6th. Jake Ellenson able to fight back after the little bit of a mishap that he had going into turn 1 and 2. He's going to end up finishing 7th. Ryan Pendleton will get 8th after starting 3rd. Steve Tucker had a up and down night, I guess you could say. He's going to finish 9th. George Jewell is going to round out the top 10. Bobby Jermaine will get 11th. Tyler Justice will get 12th. Joe Hobbs 13th. Eric Martinez 14th. Brandon Barrier 15th. Scott Formosa did not finish the race. He has scored 16th. 12 laps down. Folks, we're going to see what happens right here after this commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll bring you back to your podium finishers and tell you who the championship 4 will be for next week in Phoenix. Don't go anywhere. We will return.
Starbase, 1552 Comics. We sell everything a collector would want. Comics, Funkos, action figures, and so many more. A real American comic book shop. We are online only. Starbase.
Are you ready?
For Murph's Magical Creations. Home to custom laser engraving and gifts. This veteran-owned and operated company engraves for all occasions. If you want one of Murph's Magical Creations, call the number on your screen or commission through either Instagram or via email. Murph's Magical Creations, made with love for you.
Folks, we are back here at Richmond with the NRE Power post-race interviews, and guess what? We got the man himself, the man that didn't have to worry about any points and went ahead and locked himself into the championship for next week at Phoenix. That is Mr. Brandon Evans. And Brandon, congratulations on the win, buddy. Tell us about your race.
Thanks, man. Yeah, qualifying didn't go as planned. I didn't hit my lap the way that I needed to. So I just thought, hey, let's get some clean air and try our best to fight for it and just stay up front. Richmond's one of those racetracks that it races like a short track, but you have tire wear like a mile and a half. So you just have to be really patient on the gas and just try to manage your own race and race when necessary. A couple early, short track incidents, if you will. But kind of got through that and just kept my nose clean and drove it home.
Absolutely. And Brandon, we talked about this. I talked about it, I believe it was at Iowa. Obviously, Jeremy Gardner trying to go for 3 in a row, one at Iowa, one at Homestead, tried to go for 3 in a row here tonight. Obviously, you are one of the Cup builders or for the next gen car for Premier Racing Setups, and Gardner, a new member to the team. I guess you could say he's the protege, you are the builder. There had to be a little bit more of, I guess you could say, giddy up in that number 39 to be able to beat the protege after he's beat you 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, well, I would have went this way if I wouldn't have got left reared, but we've been talking about that for 2 weeks, laughing and joking about it. Yeah, it's good. No, Jeremy came on whenever I think we were at Richmond in the Open Series, whenever he joined our team. So, yeah, it's really cool to watch him do as well as he's doing in this car. This car is such a handful and such a challenge, and Richmond is right up there with one of the most challenging drivers tracks. The setup is like super edgy. It's something with the coming off of turn 4 with the independent suspension. You just kind of have to wait and be patient. But yeah, he did a really good job, and happy that he got 2 wins, but I wasn't going to let him win them all. So I had to show him up a little bit.
All right, Brandon, let's get serious at the moment here. Let's step out of the, all right, so everybody listening at the moment here, we're going to take the microphone into the back alley at the moment of the interview room and go to the seriousness of this one. Sorry, Brandon Evans. All right,
Sure.
So you and your protege, of course, Jeremy Gardner, of course, you're battling it out tooth and nail at the end of this one. Do you feel that Jeremy could have taken this one too? Was this a legitimate thing, or in the booth you're saying, you know what, it's better for your championship hopes there because Jeremy is not in this one? Come on.
No,
Tell us seriously.
He figured out how to work a way around me there a lap too late. I think I told him right at the end of the race, I said, if you would have done what you did, probably 3 to 5 laps to go, we would have been side by side for sure.
Was this legit? Would he allow you to lose the race because he knows that Jeremy's not in this championship? Remember, so
no, you should watch this race, and even in fun races, man, we go at it.
I'm just saying, was it was the master and the apprentice? So you got more to me there, Brandon. Is like, are you going to teach the master of how you can drive better than?
No, I did tell him to stay off the apron in 3 and 4 at one point.
I just want to hear this.
But no, I wasn't gonna let him win.
Let's keep it real.
He earned it. He earned it for sure last week. Iowa. He earned it at Iowa too. He got the lead and held it.
So
he put on a master class for me at Homestead.
Quicker than Jeremy? Yes or no? Yes or no? Are you quicker than Jeremy? Yes
I think we are some equal drivers. I will say that.
Oh, this is a question in the chat at the moment there. He's denying it. All right, Brandon Evans, we'll leave it as it is. You won the race.
Oh, good Lord. Richard over at PRS is going to be so pissed. I got a feeling he's going to end up flip it out here. But anyway, Brandon, congratulations on the win here tonight. Congratulations on locking yourself into the championship for next week at Phoenix. And before we let you go, you got anybody that you want to thank? Any shout out sponsors for making it possible here tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to thank Crusin Classics for hosting this series. It's been a good season so far. Thank Jam Printing and Promotions, Veterans for Life Foundation, Right Now Roofing, Redbeard Design Company, and then always Nazareth 360. You guys put on an awesome broadcast that I think everybody that watches really enjoys. And thank Goat Locker for hosting this. Jamie and Pat put in a ton of work to make this happen for all of us. So, just very grateful for that. And thank you for Premier Setups and all that they do as well.
Absolutely. Brandon Evans gets the win here tonight. Brandon, appreciate your time. And we'll see if you can try to get it done next week at Phoenix. But don't go anywhere because we got a special guest in here in the broadcast booth that's going to try to give us some breaking news here in just a little bit. So stick around for just a little bit, bud.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
And that is your winner here, Mr. Brandon Evans. We'll go ahead and jump to our second place finisher, it's Mr. Jeremy Gardner. And we'll just go ahead and put it to you like it is. I mean, we got everybody that finished in the top 3 up here in the booth, which is something that Dean likes to do. That way everybody can hear everybody's comments. So, Jeremy, you heard what Brandon said. First off, tell us about your race. And, second, do you agree with what Brandon said on all that?
Well, let me hop on that topic because I was actually enjoying the hell out of it. I would wreck Brandon for a win. I'm gonna throw that out there, but I will race him hard. He knows that. But that was a fun race, man. That first half, man, I couldn't hit a mark to save my life. Like 3 and 4, I was struggling real bad. Pat was beating the hell out of my bumper, but that was a fun race. Brandon just had pace, more consistency than I had, but. Overall, man, I had a blast. Richmond's a hit or miss track for me. I either do good or I either do bad. But can't complain, man. That race was super clean. Went very well.
Well, you're better than me because I can't hit nothing here at Richmond. I'll just be honest with you. I've never really been able to do anything at Richmond. But Jeremy, you come out here, obviously, the past 3 weeks, win, second. Got a pretty good average so far this season, I guess you could say, compared to everybody else. But anyway, besides that point, I would assume that you'll be there for next week at Phoenix. It's something I was actually going to ask Brandon, but I'll ask you about this. What you learned here at Richmond, what can you take from Richmond and be able to try to apply it to Phoenix?
Just staying consistent, really. Phoenix is a consistent track as well, man. You don't hit your marks, your braking points, your throttle zones. You literally blow it. You burn your right front up. That's honestly what I did the first half of the race. I'm a little scared to show up next week, man. I'm a non-playoff driver. I don't want to screw anybody's hopes up, but then again, I'm here to have fun, just like everybody else, man. This is a blast. This league's fun as hell to run in, man. Everybody here is super competitive, super respectful. So, I might just show up next week, man. I love running here.
All right, let's unveil the curtain at the moment there, Jeremy, because I'm going to do this at the moment. So, you're not a playoff contender, but you certainly can win races, if not want to win races. How you got to be going into the playoff champion? Let's have a look at currently at the moment the standings, right? Brandon Evans looking bloody solid, right? Solid for the 4. You don't mean to say you're not going to go in there and help him out there? You finished in P2 at the moment. You can finish in P1, I know. Let's unveil the curtain, of course, the Wizard of Oz. We've all said it before. You can help him out win the championship 4 and get the champion. Come on. Reveal it live to everybody. Get in there and help him out. Why not? If I had an ally like you, Jeremy, I would.
Come on, man. You can't put me on a spot like that. It'd take the right amount of money to do that. I ain't doing it for free, though. What do you mean?
We're building beef, of course. I have Jacob in here. He's the beef master of beef mastering. It's fine. No, honestly, my friend, go ahead.
Nah, man. I'm just competitive. Teammate or not, man. I'm all in it for fun. I like to win. I'm just here to be competitive.
And Colin's beef.
But I will look out for him. He knows that.
All right, there you go. That's all I need to hear.
Oh, Lord. All right. Well, Jeremy, congratulations on the second place finish, buddy. And if you got anybody that you want to thank, any sponsors, shout outs for making it possible.
Yeah, first as always, GLR, Pat and Jamie. Them dudes are absolutely amazing. I appreciate what they do for all the veterans. Of course, Cruising Classics, man, they put on a hell of a series this year. Jam Printing Promotions for all they do. Veterans for Life Foundation, Right Now Roofing, Redbeard Design Company, and of course you guys, man, y'all put on a hell of a broadcast every single week.
Jeremy Gardner ends up finishing second here tonight to the builder, Mr. Brandon Evans. Jeremy, appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll see you next week at Phoenix.
Appreciate y'all. Y'all see me.
That is Jeremy Gardner, and then we'll bring in our third place finisher, another driver trying to see if he can make it inside that championship 407, Mr. Patrick Drabick. And Pat, I mean, great race. I mean, we saw a lot of bumping, a lot of banging, saw some door banging. We saw a lot of crazy stuff happen tonight. Tell us about your race.
Oh, sorry, I had to wake up a little bit. I thought we were just having a Premier Setups love fest in here between Jeremy and Brian and Brandon there for a little bit. What's up? What'd you say?
No, you got a jam at the moment. You got a jam printing promotion at the moment there, Patrick? Because I thought we were jamming.
I don't know what's happening. I just heard about them two, and they were going to go out for drinks later. What's happening right now?
Patrick 07 jam printing promotions, my friend. You finished it. Well, you finished at P3. Come on, Patrick.
All right, we'll get this thing back on the rails. Man, that was a fun race. A lot of times you come to Richmond and you just don't know whether it's going to be a caution fest or whatever the case may be, but it was fun to run up front, run in the top four all night long. Had some great side-by-side battles there with Jeremy Gardner. I mean, I love racing with guys like him because you can race hard, but you're gonna get raced clean, and it was an absolute blast.
Yeah, I mean, it was an absolute blast to watch it, absolute blast to call it, Patrick. And obviously, you done everything that you really, and in my opinion, needed to do here tonight. You started second. Like you said, you kept it up in the top four literally all night long, able to get third. I mean, are you nervous, about, when we're fixing to reveal this championship 4 thing? Are you nervous, or do you think you probably got this sucker in the bag to be able to go run for a championship next week?
No, I'm not nervous at all, to tell you the truth. I mean, last week was a little bit of a disaster. Had some computer issues, call it a mechanical failure or whatever the case may be. And I knew coming into this week it was a long shot. I just enjoy getting out here and racing in this series. I enjoy racing with these guys each and every week. And, if it's in the cards, I make that championship 4 and I get to go battle for that Cruising Classics trophy. Awesome, man. But if not, congratulations to the 4 drivers that made it in for sure.
Patrick Drabick ends up finishing in the 3rd spot here tonight. Patrick, appreciate your time. And before we let you go, you got any sponsors, any shout outs that you want to thank for making it possible?
Yeah, Cruising Classics has been absolutely amazing. They've been with us for years. You need to go visit their website, go drool over some cars. They are absolutely phenomenal. Jam Printing and Promotions on the side of the car, again, been with us for years, do a lot of great things for us. If you're wearing anything that says Goat Locker Racing on it, Jam Printing and Promotions put that together for us. Everything the Veterans for Life Foundation is doing. We've got Redbeard Designs that's done a lot of our logo work and things along those lines. Above the Yellow Line with Taylor Kitchen. You need to go check out her podcast. Not that there isn't a really cool one called the Doorbanging Download, but there are other cool ones out there as well. I'm just saying, And Premier Setups, I mean, they put bad fast setups in our trucks every single week. Love having being a part of the Total League. Love that they've sponsored some drivers here within Goat Locker as well. Nazareth 360, you guys knock it out of the park, man. It's so much fun to come up here and talk with you guys, listen to these races back and things like that. And then, Eddie Smith over there at V-Speed and what Podium's doing as well. But y'all stay tuned, man. We got such big things on the horizon. June 22nd here in Indianapolis, there's a car show being put on by Lincoln Tech, one of our newest sponsors.
Let me show it. There it is, my friend.
There it is.
Right there.
Yeah, and if you don't know anything about Lincoln Tech, they're probably the country's leader in automotive technology in college. They've got 23 campuses across the United States, and we've begun a very large partnership with them as well. And we got some really cool stuff coming up. We're working with the Department of Veterans Affairs as well. Got a huge announcement about a grant that our nonprofit just received, Goat Locker Racing. So there's too much cool stuff in the world happening right now to worry too much about what's happening on track. But damn, it was a fun race tonight.
Yes, sir. It absolutely was one hell of a race. And, I'm telling you right there, I mean, I absolutely love to call the good races, even the bad ones. I've called some bad ones, but I guarantee you this, that right there was probably one of the best races that I've seen in quite some time. Patrick, appreciate your time, buddy. And hopefully you make the championship 4. Who knows? We'll see what happens. And that was
Speaking of the championship
Patrick
4 there,
Travick.
yeah,
Yes.
I know. I'm gonna rush you up because you had too many pina coladas on your trip there,
Well,
Jacob.
Well, we've.
How is this gonna? What do you think about this? How is this gonna pan out? This 8-4.
Well, we will see what happens. From what we're hearing right now, we're just gonna wait on this. From what I heard, I got a message that it's close. Everything's really, really close right now, so they want to make sure that they get everything to the T. Get their get their T's dotted and their I's crossed. They want to make sure they get everything like. Yes, I butchered that on purpose, Dean. Just so you know,
That's
I
fine,
butchered
that's
it on
fine.
purpose to try to make you laugh, which you didn't. So appreciate it. But anyway, yeah, they
What's
want to
coming
make sure
up,
that they
Jacob?
get it. Yeah, but they want to make sure they get everything crossed. So we will get to that when Wednesday rolls around. But there you see the rest of the schedule. Obviously, we're not talking about Monday. Tuesday, obviously, we had the Nazareth Duels for the Blanchards Towing Xfinity Series, which is at Daytona. Next week is going to be the big race to start off their season. Obviously, tonight had Cruising Classics Next Gen Series at Richmond. Tomorrow night, round 4 for the Veterans for Life ARCA Series at Viva Las Vegas. Who's going to get lucky? Who's going to roll the dice? Who's going to put it all in? Who's going to put it all on black or red? We'll see what happens tomorrow night for the Veterans for Life ARCA Series and see who's going to make their championship 4. And then how about this right here? A crown jewel right here at Darlington this Friday night. The Pulse Poppers 200 going to be at the Lady in Black. Me, Robert Hill Jr., and Dean Biggles will be on the call for the Concerns of Police Survivors Truck Series as they start off their playoff run. And that's going to conclude the NRA Power Post Race interviews. Dean, what'd you think about some short track racing here tonight?
I didn't mind the short track racing. Thank you, Jacob, and thank everybody else at the moment there. His biggest wishes, of course, there once again, Ray to Dougie out there who tuned in tonight there. So that's a big thing. And of course, the family of Jake and Alex's family has in there. Jake finished in P8, but Jake finished first to have to finish the finish. And of course, I'm sure the family is very proud. But Jacob, as well too. I mean, the Lady in Black, it scared me at the moment. I watched that IndyCar race the other day, and I saw that mannequin dropped on the track there, which scared the absolute living daylights out of me. And you can all watch that one, obviously, online. I don't know how that was safety 101, but I don't know if you ever seen it, but that was scary, my friend. I thought that was the Lady in Black, but we haven't seen the Lady in Black, my friend, because the Lady in Black, of course, is coming up this week. That's what it's all about.
Yes, sir, it is. And obviously, I did see the mannequin deal. And any of you college football fans out there in the live chat, you had one job. Whoever was supposed to hold on to that mannequin, you had one job and you screwed it up big time. That's the way that I end up looking at it. But obviously, I mean, short track racing obviously is near and dear to my heart. Obviously, I mentioned a little bit about this, Dean, about doing some real racing broadcast. I had the pleasure to be able to do some real broadcasting at the local dirt track close to where I live this past Saturday night. Was really, really happy to do that. So shout out to Wesley Outland here within the Nazareth 360 Racing Network for being able to get me away from the computer screen and be able to do some real life racing. So big shout out to Wesley on that. Appreciate him. And the good thing is they wanted me back. So that's a win in itself. So happy to do that. Dixie Speedway in Woodstock, Georgia, and then Rome Speedway in Rome, Georgia. Any of you are close on a Saturday, Sunday night, go check them out. They've got some of the best dirt track racing literally in the Southeast. and proud to be a part of that family as well as here with the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. But folks, that's going to do it for our broadcast here tonight. We obviously want to thank all the sponsors, obviously Crusin Classics for being the title sponsor for the Crusin Classics Next Gen Series. Right Now Roofing, Redbeard Designs, Jam Printing, and Promotions. And obviously NRA Power for the sponsor of the post-race interviews. And obviously Goat Locker. I mean, Patrick Drabick, I mean, everything that he does with Goat Locker. I mean, just big shout out to Patrick. Appreciate him trusting the Nazareth 360 Racing Network with the broadcasting. And speaking of the Nazareth 360 Racing Network, shout out to them. Brady LaBeouf, Cody Knott, Tyler Dittmer, Wesley Outland, William White, a new announcer with us, Dean. Very up and coming announcer, as well as me and you. Just everybody within the Nazareth 360 Racing Network that's able to put this together and be the voices of Nazareth each and every night throughout the week. Obviously, want to give a huge shout out to the drivers, each and every one of them, as I do every week, for always giving us something to talk about, always putting on one hell of a show out there on the racetrack. And you, the fans, I've seen a lot of it out there in the chat, all of you guys sending out y'all's love to us. I mean, I promise you, we love y'all too. We really do. We love y'all too. We're happy that y'all come out here and support your favorite driver, your family, your friend, your colleague, however you want to look at it. So appreciate y'all coming out here supporting them and also supporting the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. For the Australian, Dean Biggles. Dean Hopton, Dean Biggles, I am the redneck announcer, Jake Reeves, saying as I say every single week, be safe, be kind, be fast, and we'll see you out there in the desert next week as we're going to crown a champion for the Crusin Classics Next Gen Series. You are not going to want to miss it, not by a long shot. Next Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, only on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. We'll see you in Phoenix, folks.